Okay. I had to turn my phone off. Sorry. Okay. So the movie was made, and it's a television movie. I said that already. Okay. It was made in 2003. And I said before, you see Gail Grady for maybe 2 minutes because the thing is, she dies from, I'm guessing cancer. I'm not really sure. But the idea is she's been really sick for a lot of Amy's childhood. So, her dad, of course, tries to take over the parental duties, and he doesn't do so good in the beginning. But anyway, okay, so in the beginning scene, you have a little girl painting a rainbow. Okay, so then Gail Grady says, because the little girl says, "What if Daddy doesn't know what to do when you're gone or whatever?" So then she says, "Okay, do you mind if I use this?" And she uses the back of the sheet of paper, and then she traces her hand and gives her guidelines for her life. Now, I don't think the guidelines in my mind were meant to help her out, kind of, but she lives by them religiously. So the point is that this comes back to kind of haunt her in a little way because she's worried about lucky number 7 being, because that's the guy that's going to be the guy that she's going to spend the rest of her life with. So she thinks that, of course, okay, she's a lawyer because that's what she thought she had to do. And then, but down deep, she hates her job. And she paints plates, apparently across, like down the street at some place, to let off steam. Okay? And she's dating like you do, you know. And she meets this guy, Brad Rose character. Um, and he's really nice to her because she's meeting a guy on a blind date, Jack. So she confuses him for Jack. He's not Jack. So so she just remembers how nice he is to her, and then they trade numbers, and they start going out, and he meets the father. The father loves him, likes him a lot, you know, says, yeah, he's a good one, you know. And then you think, okay, they're going to be together and not necessarily get married, but okay, she's found the one. You know, her friends approve, her dad approves. She loves him. He's got good grammar. He's on time, kind of thing. Like, he does all the stuff right, okay? And then, but meanwhile, she has a friend, Peter, who's played by Patrick Dempsey, um, who is just the owner, well, not just, but the owner of a bagel shop, Brighton's Bagels. And so she just thanks her friends. Although, if you look at all the signs, like, he's totally crushing on her. He obviously likes her, whatever, but he hasn't vocalized it yet. But in every other way, he has shown I like you because he gives her free bagels. He cares about her friends. He cares about her work stuff, all the stuff that a guy should do, you know? But she thinks of him as a friend. So what happens is, at first, he tries to convince her to go out of town to a friend, no, to a friend's wedding, but it happens to be out of town because the bride always wanted to get married at this certain spot. And he had another girl that he asked to go to the wedding, but she freaked out when she found out it was out of town. So, but Amy doesn't see this as an opportunity for her. She says, I'll set you up with a friend of mine, another friend, you know, whatever. So, and then here's the kind of good and bad part. Okay. she agrees to go out with him to the wedding so that she can turn her boyfriend, who she's dating, into number 7. He's literally number 6, okay? But she's stuck on the 7, so she tries to make him number 7. But meanwhile, as is always the case, she falls in love with the guy who isn't even on her radar, and it's just her friend, and she was just going to be a good friend, and she ultimately meets his friends, and you know, and they have fun together, and he makes her lighten up and see that life isn't all like business and stuff and serious all the time. And then she comes home, and oh, before the wedding, skipped. I'm sorry. Before the wedding, uh, Peter happens to meet her dad, um, because she just tries to play it off like, oh yeah, I'm just going to a wedding. We're just friends and all this stuff. And he's like, what are you doing? You have a good guy. You have a good guy that's boyfriend that likes you, does all the right stuff. What are you doing, you know? Okay, so anyway, she just plays it off like, oh, no big deal. So she goes to the wedding. She meets all the people. They have a great time. And she just has that moment where she just knows. You know what I mean? Okay, all the women in the audience will know what I mean. When you're with somebody and you have this moment of clarity where you can see your future and you just know that it's right. And you don't follow the rules. It's not about rules. It's about a feeling inside, kind of intuition, kind of, but like a feeling mixed with intuition, and then you just know, and it's like, wow, okay. So then what happens is she's still stuck on the I'm gonna do this plan, so she doesn't see what's in front of her face. So then they kind of don't hang out for a while, whatever. She finds out that Peter is the owner of the bagel shop. She just thought he worked there. And it's just she finally makes things up with everybody that like she said anything bad to. And she finally realizes that her mother didn't mean literally the number 7. It's just that spark and that thing that I just talked about, you know? So then the end of the story is that she breaks up with the guy that she's with because she realizes that on paper they look good. It would be an ideal match. But in reality, it just doesn't fit. She doesn't feel the same way. And he hasn't done like the stuff or certain steps in a relationship or whatever. So she breaks up with him at an office party thing. And then she gets with Peter. And, ultimately they get married. But you don't see the wedding ceremony. But the last scene of the movie is she's in her wedding veil, and I think her wedding dress, but you see the veil, okay? And he's joking with her about, now what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And she's like, she's just smiling like, I don't know. But the point is that she lets go of this chest and the list and stuff, and she has this like a it's like, imagine a diary with a lock, only it's a box with a key. So she finally makes a note or something, or she takes a piece of paper and she puts it a number 6, and then puts a heart around it and says Peter in it. It's like the love of her life, like love, whatever. So then that's the end of the movie. But okay, so my rating would be for this movie. Although it's a TV movie, it's really great. It kept my interest it was only an hour and a half because, with commercials. Um, so yeah, I kept my interest and I was interested in all the characters and everything. And facial recognition did help me because I think, well, if you like romantic comedies and stuff, if you're familiar with Kimberly Williams Paisley because she was in the Father of the Bride movies, part 1 and 2. So, and Gail Grady from Different Places, and Patrick Dempsey from Can't Buy Me Love back in the day before Grey's Anatomy. Yes, he's Dr. Dreamy from Grey's Anatomy, but I'm saying before that. So yeah, if you just want to get lost in a movie, I would recommend it. Okay, bye guys. Sorry for the 2 videos. Bye guys.